Okay, we have Fadia, Riyaz, and Wafa, right? How are you, Fadia? How are you, Wafa?
Thank you, Mrs. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, Fadia, Wafa, and Riyaz. Okay, let me ask you, how's your study? How do you see writing an essay? Is it difficult or is it easy? Do you have any problems while writing an essay?
No, I think it is easy, but we must practice more and we learn more vocabulary for writing.
Very good. So, learning much vocabulary is useful for you because when you want to, for example, to write about anything, you need to have the knowledge about the topic, right? You need to have a vocabulary related to the topic that you are writing about. And you need, and you said very important point, which is you need to practice more. So the more you practice, the more you will be like be excellent at or good at writing. Okay, because writing is not something that you have like at once, or for example, like in few days. Okay, no, it's something that you have it by practice. So you need to practice more. You need to write as much as you can, write about any topic that crosses through your mind, especially concerning the types that we are having. For example, descriptive essay, argumentative essay, analytical, compare, contrast. Yani try to write up topics related to these types that we are having. Okay. Okay, do you have any question related to the writing an essay? Okay, so let's get started. What did we have last lecture? You remember the type that we had at last lecture and the example or the topic that we wrote concerning the type of the essay. Can you tell us about the type that we had last lecture?
Last lecture, we talked about the evaluative essay, compare and contrast.
Compare and contrast. Very good, Riyaz. So what was the topic that we wrote about? Yani as an example.
We wrote about the compare the life in the city and the life in the countryside.
Countryside. Okay, so to compare the life in the countryside or the city with the life in the countryside, right? And we had some connectors or some like linking words that can be useful for this type of an essay, which is, for example, connectors to use while you are talking about similarities and connectors to use while you are talking about differences. And we differentiated between like compare, the word compare, and the word contrast. Compare is to talk about similarities, while contrast is to talk about only differences. Okay, So you need to use some of these words while you are writing compare and contrast essay. Yes, Mustafa, do you have anything to share?
How were the connectors in our essays?
You mean that you wrote an assignment?
Yes, in our essays, in the connectors that we use it in our essays. How were
يعني did you like use it correctly or not, right?
Yes.
Actually, it depends on the comments that I wrote while I was correcting your essays. If I didn't like write any comment concerning the connectors, so you used them correctly. Okay, but I saw some of you that used those connectors correctly and nicely. Okay. يعني I'm just commenting on يعني the mistakes that you are making while you are writing your essays. Mustafa, did I correct your essay or not on the group?
Yes.
Okay, great. Some of you have written like the words compare, and they used the word between like as a preposition with this verb, and this is not correct. Okay, to say compare between, this is in Arabic. In Arabic we say يقارن بين. In English we don't say compare between. We say compare something with something else, okay, or to something else. For example, compare the city with the countryside, or compare the city to the countryside. We don't use between at all. Okay. Okay, let me share the screen because we will have another type today. Okay, is the screen clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, great. So we have today the narrative type or narrative essay. Okay, you know what the word narrative means?
Yeah, like storytelling.
Very good. Like to narrate, narrate is a verb. Okay, narrate, Narrate. Narrate is to tell a story. So narrative, it is the same as telling a story. Okay, so narrative essay could tell of my brothers, for example. So those are examples. My brothers and my fishing trips. Okay, boring trip to grocery store. My near-death experience at the beach. Okay, all of these are examples, and we have so many examples about this type of an essay. Because in this type of an essay, I will tell a story to the reader. Okay, I will share my experience concerning the trip that I had, for example, concerning my first day at university, for example, concerning how did I learn to drive or to swim. Okay, all of these are examples of narrative essay because I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell something that happened with me. So the narrative essay tells a story. It can also be called a short story. Okay, generally the narrative essay is conversational in style and tells of a personal experience. Okay, conversational, it's like conversation when you have conversation with somebody, so you are telling something to somebody. Okay, so it is in a style of conversational essay. Or personal experience, you need or you want to share this experience, your personal experience, to readers. It is most commonly written in the first person, like I. Okay, it's most commonly, yani not all the time, but because I'm telling you like my story, so it is normal to use I. Okay, so this essay could tell of a single life-shaping event, or simply a mundane daily experience. What the meaning of the word mundane?
Normal.
Yeah, it means normal or ordinary. Okay, I will write the synonyms on the chat. Mundane means like normal. For example, if I say mundane daily routine, it means like something normal that you use or you do every day. Okay, or ordinary. Okay, and this thing can be, yani, to somehow can be boring thing. Okay, can be boring thing because it is something that you do every day as like as something routine. Okay, so a narrative essay tells a story. In fact, narrative is another word for story. Before going to an example of this essay, let's complete reading about the narrative essay. We have some guidelines for writing a narrative essay. Yes, please, who can read? Number 1.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Learning to swim. Learning something new can.
No, yes. We are not reading the example. We are reading guidelines for writing a narrative essay, which is below the essay. Okay, you can read from the screen.
معك مصطفى أنسي.
Sorry, Mustafa. We are reading the thing that is showing on the screen.
Yes.
Okay.
I read from the book. Yes.
Okay, go ahead with guidelines for writing a narrative, which is, I think, in page number 8.
Guidelines for writing a narrative essay. Make a specific point. Determine what the purpose of your essay is.
Determine
what the purpose of your essay is. State that point in your thesis statement or controlling idea, and build upon it throughout the essay by using examples, stories, and other details that all relate back to the main idea.
Okay, thank you, Mustafa. This is the first guideline, which is like some instruction or something that are helpful or useful for you when you want to write a narrative essay. Make a specific point. You need to make like a specific story, or like to set a specific story in your mind in order to tell us about it. Okay, Determine what the purpose of your essay is. For example, are you going to tell us like, for example, a funny story, a sad story, something useful that you want to share with us? Okay, determine the purpose, like the goal of your story or your essay. State that point in your thesis statement or controlling idea and build upon it throughout the essay. Throughout means like during. Throughout, like during. Throughout the essay by using examples. You can use like stories in order like to support your sentences, okay? And other details that all relate back to the main idea. So all the thing that you need to write something, for example, stories, examples, clarification, something you need to share with us, all of these relate back, okay, to the main idea, which is your story that you want to share with us. Okay, number 2.
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
Involve readers in the story and create visual pictures by using dialogue and physical description, which is achieved through telling events that happened and presenting problems that arose. Also include specific descriptive details so that the readers can easily picture the scenes in each of the events.
Thank you. Involve readers in the story and create a visual picture. What the meaning of involve? It means like to make, for example, involve
Share
readers. Sorry?
or share, involve or
Very good. Like to make them part of your story, to make them like they feel themselves that they were with you when you have, for example, when you had your experience in the past. Okay, like to involve them, to share with them, to make them part of your story. Okay, and create a visual picture. Visual picture, when I say visual, it means like something related to the sight or seeing. Okay, visual basari. By using dialogue, it means like conversation, and physical description, okay, which is achieved through telling events that happened and presenting problems that arouse. It's the past of the verb arise. Okay, like arise, something is if something arouse or arise, so it means it begins to happen. Okay, also
like as emerge,
sorry,
like as emerge,
emerge.
emerge يظهر أو
Yes, very good. emerge, right?
right.
Yes, so it begins to like happen or to show. Very good. So arise, arouse, the past of the verb arise, which is like يظهر ينشأ. Also includes specific descriptive details so that the reader can easily picture here as a verb, not a noun. Okay, picture the scene in each of the events. Okay, picture means here as a verb, it means like to imagine something. Okay, by making like an image in your mind. This is the meaning of the verb picture. It means to imagine, يتخيل, something by making an image in your mind. Okay, and picture here is a verb, not a noun. Okay, by telling details, by telling the story, the event that happened with you, so the reader can easily picture like have the image in their mind, and they like they are imagining the story or the experience that you are telling about. Okay. Yes, number 3, we can read. Yes, number 3. Riyaz, Wafa, and Fadia. Can you read, please?
Yes. Sequence events. Often this is done chronologically, the order in which events happen, but using flashbacks, writing the story from one point in time, but then talking briefly about something that happened in the past. And foreshadowing, briefly talking about something that will happen in future, can make story more interesting.
Okay, thank you so much. Sequence events. Sequence means here the order of events. When you want to tell us, for example, how did you learn driving a car, so you will start from the very beginning, then you will go with during this learning, then you will tell us, for example, what happened right now, for example. Okay, so this is called sequence or order of events. And technically words, we have technically words which is chronological. Chronological means the order of time. Chronological means the order of time. When you want, for example, to tell us a story, so you are obligated to apply chronological, okay, which is the order of time. You need to start from the beginning of the story, then you will go step by step in order to make the reader like picture the scene in their minds easily. Okay, so chronological means the order in which events happened, or the order of time, order of events. You will start with, for example, from the past, what happened, for example, in the beginning of the story, what happened during the story, what happened in the end of the story. But using flashbacks. What's the meaning of flashback? You know, this technique is
Events,
used in a film
events,
or... Sorry?
events happened in the past. Events happened in the past.
Very good. Event happened in the past or before, for example, the story that you are going to tell us. Okay, it's called flashback. It's used in series or in film. Okay, it shows that something that happened before that point in the story. Okay, before something else. Yani. Writing the story from one point in time, but then talking briefly about something that happened in the past. Okay, for example, you are telling us about a point in the past, and you will go flashback like in the past before this point in the story. You will talk about like briefly what happened before this point that you are mainly talking about. And foreshadow, it means like to talk about something that will happen in the future. Okay, to show or say like something will happen in the future. Okay, what does it mean in Arabic?
تنبؤ.
Very good, yes. Like briefly talking about something that will happen in the future can make the story more interesting. Okay, it depends on the story, it depends on your goal, on your purpose of your essay. Okay, so but here in number 3, guideline number 3, it is very important to apply chronological order or sequence events, okay, which is order of time. It's not logical, for example, to start from the end to the beginning, from the end to the start. No, it's logical thinking to start from the beginning and going step by step until you will reach the end of the story. Okay, so number 4, decide which point of view. First person point of view, like your perspective, your opinion, because you are telling us your story. Okay, so it is mostly common to use I. You are as an author or writer, so it is يعني here in this type of essay it is common to use I. Okay, despite that using I in the story or in the essay, it is less formal to use I in the essay. But in this type of an essay, it is like acceptable to use I, because especially if you are telling us a story. If you are telling us your story, so it is يعني necessary to use I or my, okay, because you are telling us something relating to you. Okay, what are the characteristics of a narrative essay? What does it mean, characteristics?
خصائص بمعنى شيء خصائص.
Very good. Characteristics
خصائص.
يعني qualities or الخصائص، صفات، ميزات. Okay. Characteristics of narrative essay. Number 1, the purpose or the goal is to inform like to tell, the same meaning, inform or tell a story. Okay, this is characteristic number 1, which is the main goal of a narrative essay is to tell or inform a story. Number 2, writer is a storyteller. Okay, writer is a storyteller. يعني storyteller, it means حكواتي. It is the same as حكواتي does, because you are telling a story. And describes a person, scene, or event in detail. Emphasis on showing rather than telling. Okay, if you are describing, for example, a person, and at the same time you are telling us a story. Okay, so it can be both types. In this case, it can be like descriptive essay and narrative essay. Okay, if you are describing a scene or an event, but in a purpose of telling us a story. Okay, number 4, information is presented in chronological order. What does it mean, chronological order?
ترتيب زمني.
time.
Or, very good. Order of time or الترتيب الزمني المنطقي. Okay, to start from the beginning, going through steps like during the story till you reach the end of the story. Written in first person voice, like using I, my, me, for example, somewhat informal, as I told you a little before. So it is less formal, يعني somewhat informal. It's not completely informal, يعني to somehow it's slightly informal. Okay, يعني غير رسمية لكن بشكل قليل, slightly. But in this case, as I told you, you are obligated, like to, for example, if you are telling us how to drive a car, how did you learn to drive a car? You will say, for example, in the beginning, I was afraid of like sitting in the car or something. So in this case, you are obligated to use I because it's your story. Okay, but try to avoid using I in other types of an essay. Okay, if you are, for example, using expository essay or compare and contrast, try to avoid the personal pronoun I. Okay, but in this type, which is narrative essay, it is acceptable to use I. Okay, and last one, it can include dialogue like conversation. As I told you, it is written in conversational style because it is maybe it can be like conversation between two persons. For example, you are telling us a story that happened while you had a trip with your friends, so you will say that you had conversation with your friend. For example, he said that, you said that. Okay, this is called dialogue or conversation. Is it clear?
Mrs. Bara'a,
Yes.
in the third point,
Mhm.
what does it mean? Emphasize on showing rather than telling.
Emphasis, it means like التركيز. Emphasis,
نعم.
like when you have a special attention or importance on something. Okay.
قصدي ليش ابي اكد على العرض مع انه المقال السردي
Yes, very good
بيرتكز على
question.
الاخبار.
Very good question, because in this case it is both it is like two types of an essay. It is in descriptive and narrative essay, because here you are describing person but in a purpose of telling a story. So it both can be both like showing events or describing events rather than telling. Yani you are telling a story but you are describing something. Okay, because here it's like mixed as narrative and descriptive essay. You are showing details, you are describing something or somebody, and in the same time, yani the purpose here is to tell a story. Is it clear?
يعني that mean when I describe a person or a sense or an event, especially I use it the showing.
Yeah, what does it mean showing? You are showing like telling or providing details. You are showing something.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
in this case, you are writing descriptive and narrative essay at the same time.
That's clear. That's clear.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, do you have any question? Is it clear? Do you have any question concerning the narrative essay? Okay, hello again. Let me take the attendance because I didn't do it in the beginning. Fadia. Yes, Fadia. Are you here, Fadia? إيمان قالش. إيمان. Okay, Iman is not here. مصطفى. مصطفى حاج حسين.
Yes, Mr.
وفاء غالي.
Yes, Mrs.
فاطمة قصاب.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone I didn't mention their name?
Yes. Zainab.
Zainab Ibrahim?
Yes.
Riyas or Faliyas? And Zainab Ibrahim. How many? Attendance 6 participants, yes. Okay, so before the cut of the connection, we were talking about the narrative essay. Who can please summarize the main points of the narrative essay? Who can tell us what does it like?
Yes, Mrs.
Yes, Riyad, go ahead, please.
Narrative essay is like telling a story. And when we write this kind or this type, we must use I or we or me in this essay.
So it is normal to use I, despite it is less formal to use I in the essay. It's not preferable to use I in the essay. For example, if you are compare the something with something else, so it's not preferable to use I. If you are describing, for example, something, if you are exposing something, okay, يعني in other types of essay it's not preferable to use I because it is slightly informal to use I in the essay. For example, it's not preferable. I'm not saying it's correct, it's incorrect. Please pay attention. I'm saying it's not preferable because it's slightly informal to say I in the essay. For example, I am writing this essay to tell. No, this is not preferable because this is not a professional or academic way to write. Okay, so avoid تجنبوا using I in the essay, like to make your essay or your writing more academic. Okay, but in this type of the essay, which is narrative, because you are telling us about a story, it is acceptable to use I. Okay, because you are telling us something that happened to you, which is, for example, your experience or your story. So narrative means like telling a story. When you narrate something, so you tell a story. You are as a storyteller, the same as hakawati. You are as a writer, you are telling us something to share with us, for example, funny story or sad story or something like how to learn something, how to learn English, okay, from your point of view, from your perspective, because this story happened with you. Okay. Fatma Qassab, are you with us? Is it clear the
Yes,
narrative
thank
essay?
you. Yes, thank you very much.
Very simple type of essays, okay, because you are just telling us a story, telling us, for example, the story that happened with you when you had a trip, for example, when you went on a trip, for example, in the past. You are telling us, for example, about your first day at university, what was your feeling, for example. Okay, you're telling us, for example, how did you learn to drive, how did you learn to swim. Okay, so it is something relating to you as a writer. Okay, let me share the screen again. Is it clear?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm. first day at university. Did we have it before this lecture or not? Did we have like this topic before?
We wrote essay about it.
But did I show to you like this example?
No.
Okay. We have actually many examples of narrative essay. For example, you can read them at home or after the lecture. For example, you can read about how to learn to swim or learning to swim, because this is a perspective of the writer. From the perspective of writer, he shares with us like his story of how did he learn to swim, for example. So this is can be classified as narrative essay. Okay, and we have this one, my first day at university, for example. This is also a narrative essay. Okay, if you are, for example, here describing your feeling, okay, describing the place which is university, so it can be both types. It can be like narrative and descriptive essay. Okay, so it's a normal thing to have like 2 types or 3 types in the same topic. It's something normal, no problem. For example, we have my first trip, okay, which is also as a narrative essay. Okay, you have many essays in this file. You can read about them. Okay, and after reading those examples, you can write similar one. For example, after reading my first trip, for example, or first day at university, so you can imitate this essay. You can write your own one because you already had the knowledge about the topic. You already have like some vocabulary that can be used in this essay. Okay, so it is a very useful technique to read many samples, many examples, okay, about the topic, and then you can imitate or write a similar form of writing, a similar essay. Okay, let's have this writing, first day at university, which is a narrative essay, because the writer will tell us a story or an experience that happened with him. Yes, please, who can read?
Yes, Mrs.
Yes, please, go ahead.
First day at university. What important days in your life do you remember? I remember my first day at university very clearly. I felt excited and happy. At the same time, I was very nervous because I didn't know anyone. However, my first day at university was memorable. At first, I was confused and lost. I didn't know where to go. I had to ask a stranger where the first year students were going to meet. This person was very polite and showed me the way. I walked through some big buildings, and when I arrived, I saw many students and I felt scared. After a while, I told myself to be braver. I asked one girl what was happening, and we discovered that we were in the same group. We introduced ourselves. Her name was May. We joined in the activities for freshmen. Soon, I started feeling much better. The activities helped me feel a part of a team, and I was beginning to feel that I had become a university student.
Okay, thank you very much. Mustafa, right?
Yes.
Okay, Mustafa. So this is a story of a writer that had something in or at their first day at university, okay, which was actually this day or this first day at university could be like a confusing day, could be like a person can be in this day lost or confused because in the very beginning of the university life the person couldn't know any person, okay, else any colleague, like any friend. A person doesn't know anyone to talk to, okay, because it is like a new place, it is totally different from the school, right? Can you tell us, this question is for you, can you tell us about your first day at university? Can you describe your feeling? Can you share with us your memories? Who can like describe this day in just a few words, like in 2 or 3 sentences?
For me, I was so afraid and nervous.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what happened in this day, that day, for example? How did you overcome like this feeling, this strange feeling? What did you
I
do
don't
in that day?
I don't study physically.
Uh-huh.
I study online. يعني ما
So you
لهالسبب
didn't
أنا
like you didn't
بجوز
contact
يعني
anybody, right?
yes.
Mhm. So your feelings were like neutral. You know the word neutral? يعني you are not feeling a specific feeling. For example, you are not feeling confused nor feeling like horrible. You are feeling neutral. يعني normal.
No, I was so afraid. يعني I nervous because
Uh-huh.
I drop at the standing from 2002.
Uh-huh. So you dropped
And
off study long time ago, right?
yes, and I was afraid from cancel my summit.
My what?
When I submit an application to join to
Ah,
the
okay.
university, I was afraid يعني يرفضوا الطلب. يعني انا لما قدمت طلب بالبدايه وانا مقطع الدراسه من 2002 كثير خوفان انه الدكتور غياس يرفض لي الطلب، انه انت مقطوع الدراسه من 2002 وشهادتي قديمه كثير ووضع المادي تعبان. لذلك انا كنت فعلا كثير خوفان ومتوتر كثير انه
Okay,
يرفضوا لي طلبي.
so you can describe this feeling in English, please. Can you describe it? Even if you are talking slowly, no problem. You can say, for example, I was afraid of like refusing my the university. Could you refuse my request? Okay, because I, for example, was older than other students. For example, I dropped from study long time ago. You can يعني tell us in English, just like describe your feeling in English. Can you please? يعني the same that you talked in Arabic, please try to say it in English.
Yes. when I submit an application to join to Zaytuna University, I was afraid that my application would be rejected because I was old. I have old certificated from 2002. Yes.
Okay, what happened? Yani for sure they didn't reject
yes.
your application, right?
I surprised يعني because the university president was very friendly and
okay. Mustafa, what do we call
yes.
the president or the university president? What do we call it? We have a word in English.
What he says?
What do we call the person who is like a university president? He is called dean, right? I wrote it in the chat. DEAN. Okay.
What it means?
Like the responsible for university or like university manager is called dean.
Yes. Dean.
Okay, like Amid.
Yes. The dean was very friendly and said to me, "We are here to help you." And money is the last thing on our minds.
Oh, great! So I think
yes.
by this speech, you were much comfortable, right?
Yes.
And did you make like some friends in that day? While chatting with your friends, did you like get to know to somebody?
Yes, I talked to Fatma Khassab at the beginning. She was the first college in the Zaytuna University.
Okay, so she was the first colleague in your
yes.
like your group or your friends.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing this feeling or your first day at university.
Thank you.
Yes, who else can share their own like feeling or their own experience at that day, which is the first day at university? Try to describe, okay? Try to say it in English. Even if you make mistakes, even if you talk slowly, no problem at all. I will help you. I'm here to help you. Okay? Just try to tell us what was your first day like.
Yes, Mrs.
Yes, Riyaz, go ahead.
It was a very important day in my life when I went to Al Ba'ath University in Homs, in city of Homs. I was feeling as a stranger, and I didn't know anyone there because the town is new for me, and I was nervous and like stranger in this town. But I overcome all the obstructions that that faced me by making friendships with my colleagues in university in the university.
Okay, so when did that happen? Which year?
2011.
So what did you study? Did you study like English literature?
No, in open center learning, translation.
Oh, English translation.
English translation, yes.
Open learning, right?
Yes.
So where are you originally from? Are you originally from Homs or another city?
No, from Tartus.
Okay, so you traveled to study at Al-Bas University.
Yes.
Okay, so it's normal to feel like that, like a stranger, because the whole atmosphere, the place in general, like the whole town is new for you, right? Which is Homs.
Mrs. براءة,
Yes.
Riyaz Orfali originally from Aleppo.
Why did he tell us that he is from Tartus?
لا الأصل طرطوس.
طرطوس؟
إيه يا أبو أحمد، الأصل طرطوس، نعم.
So
Yes.
So you didn't know each other before this lecture? Okay. We all the same, even if we are from Aleppo, Tartus, etc. Okay, so Orfali, this surname from Tartus or from Aleppo?
No, from Orfa in Turkey.
Oh, like the origin from Turkey.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Riyas. Anything else you want to share with us? You remember the first student or the first colleague that you talked to at that day? You remember his or her name?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Fatima, go ahead, please.
Yes. On the first day of college, I felt happy and afraid of the subjects. I felt afraid to speak English with the professors, especially because my language is not good, and I need to learn. And I was afraid of the assistant. اللكنة نسيتها والله.
Accent.
أسوي إنه اللكنة ما كانت جيدة.
Accent.
عفوا.
Accent. Yes.
Accent. I was Al-Ba'ath University in Homs. I met wonderful friends. I left the university in 2016 and did not finish.
What did you study at Al-Bas University?
I studied 2014.
What did you study? What was the major?
Yes.
Was it
English,
like English? English literature?
Yes, English language.
Okay, but you didn't complete your study, right?
Yes. نعم. Yes. لم إنه.
Yes. Where did you stop? In which year? Year 2, 3?
I only completed 2 years. Just
only 2 years.
Yes.
Okay, so you stopped studying at 2016?
Yes, I haven't finished my second year yet.
So you're feeling at the first day was like strange, or you were nervous, you were excited to meet new friends? Can you tell us about your feeling at that day?
I felt happiness and fear. Yes.
So you felt happy and excited. What did you say?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything else, Fatima?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your experience at that day. But concerning like you mentioned the word accent, okay? The accent in the beginning is not that important, okay? Because it's something that comes gradually. Okay, you need just to be brave, to be not shy, to practice English, to say English, to like to talk in English with your colleagues, for example, during the lecture, even if you make mistakes. And this is very normal to make mistakes, because by making mistakes, you will be able to get over those mistakes. Okay, but the accent is not that important in the beginning, because it comes gradually, by times, يعني step by step. You will your accent will be much great. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's read passage number 3. Or before completing the reading the passage, anyone can or wants to share their feelings about the first day at university? Anyone else? Okay, yes. Who can read passage number 3 later?
Yes, Mrs.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Later, we began our classes. However, all our classmates were quiet. The teacher talked for a while and then we introduced ourselves. I met two boys. Their names were John and Adam. Soon we became good friends and started chatting and learned more about each other. Although we came from different provinces, we had a lot in common. We spent the rest of the day together until we had to go home.
Okay, thank you so much for this reading. What does it mean to say we had a lot in common? What does it mean, in common? If I say, for example, I have some characteristics or some qualities in common with my sister, what does it mean?
In share.
Similar?
Very good.
In share
Like
also.
we are sharing the same characteristic, or we have like similar characteristics, which يعني in common, it means like مشتركة. Okay.
No.
We had a lot in common. يعني we had a lot of we had a lot of similar characteristics. Okay, so as you saw in this essay, it is like description or narrative of the first day at university. As you saw, this student or the author or the writer told us about his or her feeling, which was nervous feeling, okay? But for example, by chatting with students, with colleagues, so he came over this feeling. So in the beginning, he felt like a stranger, but by time, he felt more quiet, more comfortable. He felt that he has like friends to talk with, to chat with, to learn about each other. Okay, so he got used to this atmosphere, which was in the beginning like a new place to go to. Okay, and in the conclusion, it is like summary, okay, or like a few words, few points, that is to say about how I remember that day. After graduating, you will still remember your first day at university because it is very special for you as a student. Okay, even after graduation. Okay, so that's all for today. We had today narrative essay, which is the last type of an essay. As I told you before, we have a lot of types of essays, but we studied only the common types or kinds of essay. Okay, please write an assignment and mention this type of an essay, which is narrative. So choose whatever you want, whatever you want concerning the topic. Choose like a topic which is related to a narrative essay. You can tell us about any story that was, for example, a happy story or sad story for you. Just tell us a story or experience, your experience, something that you want to share with us as narrative essay. This is your assignment, okay? To write a topic of a narrative essay. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you so much. Do you have any question before finishing the lecture?
No, thank you, Mrs.
Okay, you're mostly welcome. See you inshallah next lecture. Don't forget to do the assignment and send it to the group. Take care and see you inshallah. Bye bye.